Dr. Nair, please confirm that you see the whole screen now.
Yeah, I can see the whole screen, sir.
So you
I will.
keep on saying.
Thank you so much for presenting this.
Okay, so you can, I think we can begin, and then you just keep on saying next, and I will move.
Yeah, oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. I'm honored. No problem. Okay, shall we start then?
Ji. So,
okay.
Let me say.
Very good afternoon to all of you.
Yes.
A very good afternoon once again to all of you. And before starting this session, my gratitudes to Professor Pant and Sharmaji from the group of Learning321. And I will just begin by saying that when we were conducting this sessions on Saturdays, 4 to 5 p.m., and when I got the message on the group, I was very much interested in conducting one session. But I was not very clear on what I should be talking about. Ultimately, my mind said that, okay, I should be talking something on school education. And when it comes to school education, I was just remembering my own school education, past and forward. So I was finding mentally something missing, some of the elements that is missing. Then I said that, yes, there is a need to design and develop a backward and forward integration model, which I was thinking for so long now. For last 4 or 5 years, I have been thinking on these things. And the reason for this thinking is that to making the learners career and life readiness. So that was the topic that we will be going to discuss now. There are only few slides here, 4, 5 or 5, 6 slides. And beginning from this slide till the nth slide, it's only hardly 7 slides, but I will have only just one slide, which is a personality development matrix that I will be talking too much on to explain what the matrix it is, which is a matrix which is developed by me only. That will be the only slide we will be spending too much of time. Otherwise, these slides are more or less self-explanatory, but I will still take the privilege of explaining a little. And hopefully by 4:40 or something, or 4:45 latest, we will be ending up with my presentation, and the floor is free for the question answer session after that. Then by 5 o'clock, we will be closing this also. In case if this link is getting disconnected, you can reconnect onto the same link, because it's a Zoom meeting. So maybe after 40 minutes, it may get disconnected. So I will go to the next slide, which is talking about the agenda of the program. Sir, we can go to the next slide. So the agenda is that purpose of education will be talking. Then we will be talking about K-12 education, the Industry Academia Incubation Center, and the career building, which I told you is the personality development matrix of life. I will be talking. Then the skills and competencies, the difference and the differentiators will be talking. Then the 5 absolutes of skill development. Which are those 5 absolutes of skill development? And which are those 4 absolutes of quality is what we are going to talk. There is no special slide for point number 2 or point number 1 also, which I will explain myself. In one of the forums I was talking when I was addressing a gathering of around 200, 300 principals from the K-12 education. So I asked most of them is that what is the purpose of education? Various people have given various meanings and various definitions of the purpose of education. To my question number 1, what is the purpose of education? Followed by that, I asked them, when I asked the first question, did all of them think about only a teacher life of a teacher, and the life of an educator or a learner, and the schools and students only, when they have been finding or trying to find an answer for the purpose of education? All of them said yes. So when we were talking about the purpose of education and trying to get a meaning of what is the purpose of education, all of us primarily, especially school teachers or educators, think about their life as an educator and the learner's life as students. But to me, the purpose of education, what I found when I was thinking through this backward forward integration model, the purpose of education to me is for meeting the purpose of life. So the purpose of education is for meeting the purpose of life is what we will be talking. That's what I find is the purpose. Then the K-12 education, the Industry Academia Incubation Center. The second point that we are discussing is that the kindergarten to 12th standard education is the incubation center for the Industry Academia Interconnect. Now, this school's education is the incubation center for creating the children to be life ready, as well as creating the children to be career ready, creating the children to be industry ready. So the school currently or the teachers currently are not taking that in that perspective, that they have got that huge 15 years job of making the children industry ready. So there is an industry academia interconnect that is missing, which is missing element, on which also we will find a value in the next slide, is that why there is a backward integration and a forward integration that is required. Now, I think, sir, we can go to the next slide. We can move to next slide. Yeah. So this is one slide which I have developed when I was thinking too much onto the personality development matrix of the life of a person. So I hope all of you can see the slide. And what I have mentioned over here is that in the life of a person, there is a capacity which is getting built. There is a capacity building process before birth or immediately after birth. Till the time the child or the learner is exposed to an academic platform for future course of action in terms of academic pursuit is concerned, till the stage the person leaves a legacy and building his own capacity for leaving a legacy for the society. So that is whole process. So the capacity building happens before and after. So when we are talking about personality development, which is then relating that to an academic pursuit of learning, that too in our school education system of the first 15 years, which is to do with the early childhood education and care as well as adolescent education, then slowly gradually moving to the professional development or professional education, initially in the conventional order for last so many years, right from the independence till about last maybe 15 years, maybe 1.5 or 2 decades. Basically, the schools and the academic platform for the school system of education was concentrating on the knowledge, attitude, and behavior of a child. Knowledge you can define in any way. It is the GAN or the information or the learning that one is getting under the knowledge part. That can be put it into the basket of knowledge. Then the attitude, which is the ravaya. Ravaya is that how is one's outlook about life, or how one is seeing things in life. That makes the basket of attitude of a person. Then the vyavahar, the behavior, the conduct, the dealings of the people with other people, other fellow students, other fellow colleagues. These are the three baskets which is normally molded together for making a person almost higher education ready or a little educated adolescent child. But the skills and competencies which we have mentioned over here on the last two basket was not there at all. This was just recommended to skills, competencies, and the need for those skills and competencies. This was recommended when India was moving towards the most powerful nation or willing to be the most powerful nation, where the youth education was important and youth career was taken into the focus areas. So suddenly we found that in the 2000 and in 2005, especially after this Y2K bubble burst is happened, there was a very big need for the talented human resources, where we found that the skill gap is there with the students who are passing out from the collegiate education as well as the professional education. That is the time when the skills and competency has taken the momentum. So skills, as I told you, like knowledge, attitude, behavior has got a basket of the kind of outlook, the seeing through the things, etc. Similarly, skills also, the kaushal part is also has got ability or the talent to do something, or the ability to produce a solution to a problem. That also will be sometimes somebody would be finding it as a skill to do something, whether educated or not educated. So that basket contains these two, three. You can define in any manner. If you go to the definition of all these words, you will find so many things. But I have taken the most relevant ones and the most appropriate used ones in common parlance. Same is the case with competencies. Competencies we have mentioned here is that the capacity or the capability or the efficiency or the proficiency of a person to perform a skillful job or to do a skillful activity is put under the competencies. So this is how the knowledge, attitude, behavior molded together, turning out to be an ability and coming out as a talent to produce certain solutions to a problem in the life of a person, which turns out to be a capability lifelong and sustainable for the person to be life ready. This is the top portion of this matrix is talking about. Now at the bottom portion or at the middle portion, what happens is that when a child is approaching an education system, first thing what is happening is that the child, as a person who is newly exposed to a school system, is just like a newborn baby to an academic pursuit. So that is the approach with the child will be coming into the system. Then the teachers who are teaching the child, the learner, is only finding the appearance of the child at that time. The teachers at the incubation center, especially the foundation, pre-foundation and the nursery KG level kind of children, the age group of 2.5 to say 5.5 or maybe 4.5, the nursery KG foundation, pre-foundation stage, they just find the appearance of the child. They have no clue about what is the capacity of the child, the learner's talent, the learner's knowledge, the learner's attitude, the learner's behavior, the learner's skill at that point in time. So they come and appear in front of a teacher just like a child of 3.5 or 4.5 that time. Then when do they know about this attitude? When do they know about their behavior? It is only through their actions. So once the child comes into the classroom, the child starts behaving in a manner, gives an outlook, see things in a manner, gather some information, learn certain things. All these things will get contributed to an action, a performance. Then we say that, okay, the child is performing well, or the child is participating well in an activity. So that is the portion where the learner who appeared to be approaching as a fresher to the system actually started getting the benefit of education. That is slowly then moving to a manifestation model. Because for a child's development stage from approach to appearance to action, converting into a manifestation model actually needs the right skill sets and the competencies to be developed. So this is the stage where every school system, every education system, every higher education system, every professional education system is struggling now. So far, what we have discussed is a need for a person to build his capacity just to mold to be the stage of the adolescent child. Now, here comes the biggest challenge of building the capacity of finding out what actually is the hidden talent in the child. So from that portion, from that stage, the child, what is happening in the child's personal development or the personality development is happening at this stage. The approach stage is the grooming stage. The appearance as well as the action stage is the growing stage. The action and the manifestation stage is the relationship stage. And that sets the well-being of the child once the child passes out from the collegiate education. So this interconnection between the knowledge, attitude, behavior, flavored with the skills and competencies, turning out to be a child approaching to an education system, getting actionable results, doing into a manifestation model is the growth path and the personality development stages of a person in the life. If I put it academically, then the interconnection between these academic systems are also mentioned over here, is that the growing stage or the grooming stage is an interconnection or an interplay between the K-12 education, the kindergarten to 12th standard education, till the higher education. Those blocks which is mentioned over there in the triangle is the kindergarten to 12th standard, and then there is a higher education stage, and there is a stage of job readiness. So what happens is that in the higher education stage and the job stage, relationship management happens, because the child will become a more than adolescent child, more than teenager, and getting into a new job, getting a career building setup, and there are relationships being managed in personal and professional life. Between the K-12 and the higher education stage, there is a grooming and growing stage which is being built up in the development of a personality of a person. Here I am not talking about only education as the school education or life as the learner's life in a school or a college. So this interconnection, what is happening from the capacity building of the child before coming to the school, that is part of backward integration. What is happening after that, stage by stage, towards completing the relationship management to be a person with a well-being, to leave a legacy in life, that is part of forward integration. So the forward thinking model of education needs to be set up in a manner that it takes care of anything beyond knowledge, attitude, and behavior. So the major point that I wanted to emphasize over here is that the need for building skills and competencies and capacity building of a person right from the relationship management stage to the well-being stage, so that we have the trained, certified, evaluated, civilized, qualified, competent, and skillful youth for setting up the legacy as youthful nation. So education, as we say, is that we are in the nation building process. So this was my thought process when I was talking about the purpose of education in the initial slides, actually, which I took lots of time to put it into a matrix which can get interconnected in the life cycle of a person. And you can ask me one question: what is written as mark after the job? Mark is the mark that the person is living in the society. It is not the mark as the academic marks or the performance of a child. It is what mark, what are you leaving? You will have to leave your mark in the society, or you will have to leave the mark in your workplace. What have you been lived for? So that stage happens, followed by which a person leaves a legacy on the retirement stage of their life in the profession or the occupation that they are into. So this is what it is not mark. It is not market, sir. I have just explained this to you, Sharmaji. So I leave a mark in the society for which I have been living for, which I have been liking for, or living or working for, you can say, in my career. So, or as a professional, or as a subject matter expert, or a domain specialist, or an industry expert, I will be leaving my mark in the society or in the industry. So that is just before the stage of a legacy. Legacy is again sustainability, again to do with succession planning. In the case of especially the businessmen, they leave a legacy, and also they are leaving the legacy. Yes, leaving the mark is a good indicator. Yeah, leaving the mark is a good indicator. Yes. So this is how I have been able to put across. When we are slowly moving to the question and answer session, definitely we will be able to answer in case if there is some question answer that is. Yes, Sarmaji, we can go to the next. Yeah, skills and competencies, the difference and the differentiators. In this slide, what I would like to say is that there is a difference between skills and competencies. Skills are different, competencies are different. To give a small example, driving is a skill, but child efficiency driving, fuel efficiency driving, road safety driving, these are competencies attached with a person to be a skillful driver, a competent driver. We were talking about a skill capacity building as well as competencies building in the previous slide. So the difference between skills and competencies, so the skill is a set of various competencies attached with. So fuel efficiency driving and child efficiency driving, or at an unlikely event of a road rage, the person not quarreling with the other person is also a competency as a life skill that is required, which some of the education systems may teach him, or some of the society system may teach him to be a good human being, not to be quarreling with others in even if there is a road jam or a traffic jam. So that is the difference between the skills and the competencies, and that exactly is the differentiator also. So the difference sometimes, now we have reached a stage in the school education or the college education or professional education stages, people have started talking about skills and competencies, skill development and capacity building, etc., etc. All these terms are used, terminologies are used plenty. But the thing that is not understood by the system so far, it will take some more time, maybe I am estimating another 5 to 10 years of time, to know that those are the differentiators. So the system is struggling as of now with the problem of how to define competencies against each skill that we wanted to develop, and how will we match that with each topic that we are covering in each subject by each of the faculty members in the school or a college education system. So that is the difference and the differentiators. Next slide we can go, sir. Yeah. So when we are talking about skill development or capacity building, or you can say competency is based, the curriculum matrix, personality matrix, framework, etc., there are 5 absolutes, which according to me, the skill development, the first and foremost absolute of skill development is willingness to learn, without which no one can do anything. Then the relevance to a livelihood. By and large, India, we know that it is not just the 5 or 10% or 8% of the cream of the students or the parents that we are gathering into, or we are addressing to. The relevance of any development of a skill will be primarily, one of the absolute will be to meet their livelihood mission management, livelihood mission management, to earn monthly earnings as well as run their family, etc. That is another absolute. Always people will find, is there a relevance to my livelihood by knowing this skill or by building this capacity, or me becoming a competent person? That is the second absolute. The third one is pure passion. Unless there is a pure passion, skill development will never happen. Then the mentors and coaches. There is a difference between a mentor and a coach that all of us will know. This is also required. If somebody is saying that I have developed a skill without a mentor and coaches, that person may not be truthful to himself. Then the learning environment. All of us are now listening to this platform. A very congenial learning environment is also required. Whatever we think about skill development or capacity building, any of the item will fall in any of these, under any of these 5 absolutes is what I propose, what I have seen. We can go to the next slide, sir. Yeah. So we are talking about doing things in a qualitative manner. So quality education is very important at this stage and going forward also. Obviously, there are so many of the fraternity of education is worried about quality education, benchmarking standards of quality education. So we have all been trained on a system called quality education system, which is by Philip Crosby. Most of us must be knowing also. Philip says that quality is free otherwise, but these four absolutes are met with. In case if you are able to meet with these four absolutes of quality you will find that it is not costly at all. It is completely free. First and foremost absolute what he is saying is that prevention. Prevent what is leaking, what is not happening. Even if you are not advancing towards ensuring quality assurance matrix, you just prevent what is wasting your quality on. That in itself is assurance of quality. Then he says that zero defect, complete zero defect. In case if you commit saying that, okay, I will start the session at 4 o'clock, not even 1 second is being defaulted. That kind of a zero defect. Or maybe we can say if 100 flights takes off, all 100 lands down. If 100 bypass surgery is performed, all patients becoming successfully clinically fit and getting discharged from the hospital. It is not like 100 children are attending classes, only 90% is getting 76%. It cannot be like that. So perfection, zero defect is another absolute of quality. Then the conformance to norms. If we set our norms for performance standards that we do, we have to conform to those norms actually. We set our standards, we make lots of standard operating procedures, we do lots of norms for ourselves to drive our life to be less miserable, but we don't conform to those norms. So conformance to norm is one of the third absolute of quality that he says, and the price of non-conformance. Anything, time and money. Time is money. If you don't have time means you do not have money with you. So which means the price that we are paying for saving time is the cost of quality, which is called PONG, which is price of non-conformance. So Philip is talking about four absolute of quality. I have given this link where you can Philip Crosby, four absolutes of quality says, and I love Philip because we met him in NIIT. Philip came to NIIT and we met Philip across the table. And it was a wonderful session with him. And ultimately, he's a believer of quality is free. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Sir, we can move to the next slide. I hope it's almost over. Yeah, that's it, sir. Now the floor is open for question answer session in case if there is any question answer. It's only 1 minute 45 seconds left is what I could see from here. Sharmaji was telling me also. So now the floor is open for question answer session.
The question, and otherwise if there are then we can type them into the Learning321 group and where Dr. Nair can send a reply.
Yeah, fine. Definitely is.
We still have 1 minute 20 seconds.
Maybe this will not get closed also. It may continue also. There may not be a necessity for...
No, sir. It will close, sir. It will close and then we have to click on another link.
Yeah,
again on this link.
So in case if there is any questions, we can.
So there is no question, but this is the first time we had such kind of a session in Learning321. So credit goes to sir and you, because we never had such kind of a Zoom session. We always had a session in a written format or the audio format. Even the presentations were there, but not a kind of a Zoom. So this is a new thing which you have introduced today. So thanks to you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for participating, all of you.
Yes, Ashokji.
Thank you so much, sir.
Adding to what you have said, Nair sir, आप सब लोग education में हो, educationist हो, you have an educationist background. My view is more of a practical person, and being connected with the education institutes and how I see is being changed. So one major thing that I see changing is because nowadays I'm sharing my knowledge with the